Oh, yeah. Five-star. LSU. I said, they ain't ready for the LSU. No, they ain't ready for the LSU, huh? They ain't ready for the LSU. No, they ain't ready for the LSU. We the best in the league if you looking for talent. LSU going hard, but we beat Alabama. Then we going out to Florida. Drown the Gators, everybody getting bucked when we step in the stadium. This the LSU anthem, you know it's a hit. You don't know another rapper two-step like this. See me screaming out the window, yelling purple and gold. I'm an LSU fan, girl, you know how we roll now. Back and back it on up, hey. 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 Way down in the back.
Yay! We are live, and my voice is back, Zach.
It's good. Last time was a little rough.
Yeah, it was. Now I'm on the road to recovery. I still got a little tightness, but it's way better than it was this past week. So I'm glad to be back and not coughing my head off. I do have water on standby just in case. Just in case it gets hectic. But we're good. We're ready to go. Yeah, we're good and we're ready to go. And there's a lot to talk about with this past weekend, with baseball, with upcoming things with baseball, with women's basketball. I mean, lots to talk about. And Zach, we need to catch up a little bit on some spring football too. We need to do that and have a segment here soon about spring football, because obviously spring football is in full swing as well. But Zach, just to let you guys know, Tigers Avenue here soon, hopefully within this week. I really hope it's this week, Zach. I'm on spring break. I'm hoping to have a baby this week. Hoping to bring a new tiger into this world. So really excited about that. Right?
Number two.
Number two. Hoping to bring another tiger into the world this week. Lord willing, it will come this week, because that would be awesome, because I'm on spring break. But I know it'll be perfect time. But I know how life goes. He'll probably come right in the middle of next week. And when I'm back in the midst of school.
The uncle wouldn't mind, getting to leave work and take a day off or so. Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
So that's on the horizon as well. So maybe I'll get to meet the new tiger here soon. I'll share you. I guess I'll share the name whenever he gets here. But we're
pretty
excited
dope
about
it.
Pretty dope name. So Zach, obviously last night the women's basketball team was competing in the round of 32 against Michigan as expected. And we discussed this a little bit and talked about how, man, this could really be a competitive game. The Big Ten obviously is very good in terms of women's basketball. Lots of good teams. I mean, shoot, Iowa is a 2 seed. Utah is a 2 seed. No, well, not Utah. Indiana's a 1 seed. So lots of great teams in the Big Ten when it comes to women's basketball. But the women really held their own. And we got somebody here that was there to witness it in person, to give us in-person scoop about last night's victory over Michigan. Let's bring him on in. Gant from the Balcony Bengals. Wow, what an intro. I mean, the timing was perfect on that.
Timing. Money with that one.
There we go. What's up, Gant?
Not much, man. How y'all been?
We've been great, man. Appreciate you coming over and hopping in the show tonight, taking some time to do that. Shout out to you and the Balcony Bengals. Always faithful followers of the show and supporters. We really appreciate you guys and what y'all have done with the connections we've had together, and always willing to come on the show and give us some on-campus, in-person intel into what it was like. Gant, so let's just talk about the atmosphere for a second, because it seemed like it was jumping. What was it like last night?
Yeah, it was definitely something to witness. I mean, from the jump, it was rowdy. The students were going crazy, yelling at the Michigan parents, and early on, like one of the Michigan dads started videoing all of the students because like I guess I don't know, want to get kicked out or whatnot. And all of a sudden, look up and there's 30 students with a cell phone videoing that guy, like acting like they're kidding. It was really rowdy from the jump. And I mean, once the crowd started to fill in, it was packed in there, and it was crazy. I mean, the student section was rocking all night, and then I mean, like the first possession, they had the shot clock violation.
Yeah,
I mean, when they got like down within 10 seconds, that was the loudest like I've ever felt anything. It was just like a complete roar, and it was definitely something.
So is it safe to say when in terms of women's basketball, the Deaf Dome is alive?
Oh yeah, 100%. That was, I mean, even like last year, the Will Wade games. I mean, it got crazy.
Yeah.
That was like we were up by 20 in the fourth quarter or the third quarter.
Yeah.
Every time Michigan had the ball, everyone's being loud, yelling, chanting defense, or just screaming, and the noise just kept going.
Well, great. I mean, that's what you want to see from the PMAC and from LSU fans. That's what should be expected. I think that's kind of the mantra that LSU has adopted about itself is rowdy fans, loud fans. And so it's good to see when that comes true because it feels like for so long the PMAC had been missing it in both the women's basketball and the men's. Will Wade kind of brought that back to life. I would say in his tenure at LSU, and we appreciate him for doing that. Hopefully Matt McMahon can right the ship and get it back to that as well. But, man, Kim Mulkey has been doing that work with the women's basketball program. And twice this year, y'all have been a part of record-breaking crowds. I mean, what has that been like?
Yeah, that's been something really cool to see. I mean, 15,000 people in the PMAC a couple of times this year, shattering records. I don't think there's too many other crowds in the country doing that for women's basketball. So, the staff's done a great job though. Like Joe Schwartz does a great job with the students, getting them there. And I mean, of course, who doesn't want to go watch Kim Mulkey coach a game and Angel Reese get 25 boards every night? So, they definitely, it's an easy product to sell because, the girls can play.
Yeah. So Zach, Gant, I guess we'll talk a little bit now, maybe some analytics on the game and a little bit about the game. It started at 6:30 last night. And so I kind of missed the first half of it, but I caught the second half. I turned it on. I'm like, oh shoot, like we're up 20 already. Like, so, Zach, and then I'll go to Gant next. Zach, I mean, what was the first half kind of like? Kind of fill me in on that. I mean, how did they gain such a lead and kind of sustain that through the second half? Because all I watched was them sustaining their lead and growing and building on that.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously Angel Reese played a major factor, but we mentioned it on the last podcast, Reagan. You were going to need to see a guard step up and make a big impact, and guess who did it? Jasmine Carson. Carson had three big threes, almost back to back. She went back to back, then missed one that she took from deep, and then she hit another one. And as I'm sure again, I mean, the fans were going absolutely berserk, especially on that third one. And she built a really nice cushion for LSU early on. And we mentioned how massive it would be for LSU to have other players outside of Alexis Morris and outside of Angel Reese have big nights. And Alexis Morris didn't have the best night. And so you needed somebody else to step up, especially one of the guards. And Jasmine Carson did that exactly. So massive first half for the Tigers was because of Jasmine Carson. Obviously, Angel Reese just dominates basically the entire game. I mean, anytime it felt like maybe Michigan was kind of getting close a little bit there in the first half, they'd go feed Angel Reese and she'd go get a bucket or an and one. And I mean, they just couldn't really do much with her. They couldn't handle her inside the paint. And so it was just really impressive to me. Because this is a game also where, we kind of thought maybe it would be a lot closer. And I think people expected this game to be a lot closer than it was. And LSU just came out and dominated it in basically every facet of the game. So that was very encouraging, especially moving forward, going into the Sweet 16 against a really good Utah team. I definitely want to see that moving forward. I want to see the guard play step up again. So we'll see what happens. But, I mean, overall, just phenomenal job by the girls to just come out and completely shut it down and leave out as to why they're in the Sweet 16.
So Gant, let me pivot just a little bit because we haven't discussed the Hawaii game yet. We haven't had a show since then. So, I'm gonna be honest, y'all. Hawaii really surprised me, and competed a lot better than I think a lot of people expected. I mean, they won and they won handily, but I mean, I really got to give it to Hawaii. I feel like they put up a way better fight than was expected. Gant, what was that game like? Before the Michigan game? I mean, was it as competitive as it seemed it was, or did it seem like they really had control, though?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a competitive game. I felt like we had control pretty much the whole time, but there was definitely, I mean, it almost felt like even though the Michigan game, the Hawaii game almost felt a little more competitive. Like Hawaii had a couple guards that they were playing hard,
Yeah.
and they played well. But it really just felt like we were controlling the whole time. But the crowd wasn't even really into it. Like it was just kind of like everybody was just chilling and watching the game. It felt like November atmosphere, just everybody kind of not really worried about losing. I mean, they went out there and just dominated. But I think there was definitely some fight from Hawaii, but it didn't feel like it was too close in the PMAC.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got from it. It was like, I don't know if maybe the lack of, like you were saying, it was like a November kind of crowd. I don't know if it was the lack of energy. Plus, they, like you were saying, I'm trying to remember her name. It's kind of a Samoan name, anyways.
Yeah.
It was number 3,
Mhm.
like their starting guard. She was really out there getting buckets. She really was. And I think one of their bigs, like number 11, put
Kaylin Spiller. I think she was
Kaylin. Yeah. Spiller was out there kind of doing her thing as well, and so it felt a little bit more maybe kind of competitive, and with the lack of emotion in the crowd, like you didn't see it like when the Michigan game, like it was like, man, we're up 20 and the crowd is rocking. Like it felt like you were in complete control. But yeah, I gotta agree. I feel like they eventually obviously were completely in control of that game and kind of cruised to the victory. So guys, I don't think I mean, look, Angel Reese, she got 24 points, 25 boards against Michigan. And I mean, what an incredible performance. Like, I think they said on the broadcast that like 27 was the record in an NCAA tournament game. So she's too shy of tying the record for boards in a game. So, I mean, a phenomenal performance. But I don't think we need to overlook LaDazia Williams. And she had 10-10 too. She had a double-double. And I really think LaDazia is a girl who really impacts the game that doesn't get on the stats as much. I think her physical presence is something that is overlooked. Gant, you're there, what kind of impact does LaDazia have on the team, and kind of what role does she play in the success of this team so far?
Yeah, I mean, she definitely makes a big impact. I mean, I think she helps kind of space it a little bit down there for Angel, because you can't just double Angel. She's going to dump it to LaDazia. And, she helps a lot on the board. She's such a big physical body. Like, Angel Reese is very good, but like LaDazia is just like a solid wall. So like whenever she gets the ball, whenever she's defending somebody, it's like they're not going anywhere. Like they're not going to back her down in the post. So, but yeah, she's a great part to the team, and she definitely helps a lot. And that's what I was kind of thinking. She was kind of one that stepped up, I felt like, and helped us get this big lead early in the game. Angel went out quick with the busted lip for a couple of plays, and she kind of was there, and they were feeding her early, and that was a game plan to get it down the post, let them two go to work, and she definitely had a good game, stepped up big.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be really important for kind of like what you were talking about, Zach. We need some good guard play. We need like Alexis Morris to do what she did a few times this year and really pop off. I'm trying to remember which game it was where she popped off for what was it, like 25 points. I can't remember which game it was, but anyways, I want to say it was A&M maybe when we were at A&M. But anyways, we really need that, and I also think LaDazia plays a crucial role in how far we go in this tournament. In terms of her, I mean, defense, I think it's well overlooked. LaDazia is an awesome defender. and is really a solid rock in the middle of the paint in terms of defensive side of the ball. So, Zach, what do you think with this Utah game? Maybe we can look ahead a little bit. Obviously, we made it to the Sweet 16. Kim Mulkey said she wanted to win one more game this year. She wanted to make it to the Sweet 16, do one more better than this year, and she's done it. So now we turn to Utah, number 2 seed. Going to be a difficult game. Zach, okay, I'm honestly, I don't know how the women's tournament plays. Where is it being played at now?
Oh, well, now it's going to be in Greenville.
Okay. So it's going to neutral site now.
Correct.
Gotcha. So, Zach, I mean, what in terms of Utah, what do we need to do to be successful and get a win against Utah?
Well, I mean, as we said, whenever they first drew their bid, obviously we were kind of upset a little bit that they didn't get the 2 seed, that they got a 3 seed. But if you were going to get the 3 seed, like, it was massive to be placed in the bracket that you were placed in, with 2 seed Utah and then 1 seed Indiana. Because, like, I'd hate to be in the bracket where you have to face Iowa and their 2 seed. Like, Iowa's just really, really freaking good.
Caitlin Clark is a problem.
Yeah, like, Iowa's, like, really like a 1 seed, honestly. But they're a 2 seed in this tournament. And, I'd hate to be the 3 seed in that bracket, because you'd be facing an Iowa team that just is really, really good in the guard plays. You're going to be overmatched with guard play. So, I think the draw was really good for LSU. Utah, they've lost 4 games on the season, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I know a whole lot about Utah women's basketball, because I don't. But just going back on the games that they've played so far, their losses came to Washington State. They lost to Arizona, which was a ranked matchup. That game it seemed like it was kind of close, but then kind of there at the end got away from them. Let's see what other games they've lost. They lost to Colorado. There's a couple of games in here
not 2 good losses.
They have like both the Washington State and the Colorado loss. They were both unranked.
Bad losses.
Of course, the Arizona loss was against a ranked opponent. I'm trying to find the last one. They lost a total of 4 games. Let me look here. Utah. There's one other game in here that they lost. They lost Colorado. There's that one. Lost to Arizona. Oh, they did beat Arizona earlier in the season. So that they played each other twice overall in the season. Beat them once, and then Arizona beat them the other time whenever Arizona was back at home. Let's see. I don't think I can find it. It says they have 4 losses, but I'm not finding it right now. But anyways, so either way, they've had obviously more losses on the season than LSU has. But I would say they've also probably played some stiffer competition. They've played more ranked games than LSU has. The only ranked game I think LSU played was the South Carolina game and the Tennessee game. I don't think Ole Miss was ranked at the time that we played them. Am I wrong on that, Gant?
Yeah, I don't think they were.
I think it was just Tennessee and South Carolina. Mm-hmm. And there's other conferences in women's basketball that are overall, we mentioned the Big Ten, that are overall just stronger. And the Pac-12, I think, is one of those that's a little bit stronger than the SEC. You kind of have the top half that's really top heavy with South Carolina, LSU, Ole Miss, teams like that are it's really top heavy. And then you kind of have the Pac-12 where there's a little bit better mixture and the talent's a little bit more spread out. So this is going to be a good team regardless. I mean, Utah, don't be fooled by the losses that they took to Colorado and Washington State, even though they were against unranked teams. Like, LSU is going to have to play hard. I mean, they're a number 2 seed for a reason. And they've lost more games and they're a higher seed than LSU. So obviously the committee views them as a better opponent than LSU. So I'm interested to see, the matchups that I don't know their bigs. I'm going to just, I guess, click on this now and look at some of their players that will stand out. Let's see.
I'd be willing to bet it's advantage LSU. Just about any team you play, it's advantage, other than South Carolina.
So there's a girl by the name of Elisa Pillay. I don't know. She kind of leads their team in basically everything. She averages 21 points a game, averages 5.5 rebounds per game. So it seems like they're big. that might be interesting then, because that's going to be a
That's
matchup.
big.
Yeah, it's going to be a big versus big matchup. She's a forward. She's 6'2", which Angel's like what?
6'3".
6'3".
6'3" or
Okay.
6'4".
So it looks like it's going to come down to a big on big matchup. So how well does our guards play? We'll see. Again, we mentioned it earlier. We want to see our guards step up. So maybe LSU, you kind of break even there with the bigs, but maybe LSU has an advantage there with the guards. I don't know. Again, I've never watched Utah women's basketball, so we'll find out as we watch the game.
Just an interesting note here, guys. Currently, Indiana, the number 1 seed in our region, is playing, and they're down 1 point in the third at the end of the third quarter to 9 seed Miami. Currently losing. Big time if they lose. That would be huge. That would be huge. Huge, huge, huge. So Gant, Zach, there's a comment here for Gant that I wanted to get to, because I wanted to ask him a little bit about this and get his opinion on it. Ask Gant what was up with the security. So 2 things here, and then we'll get to one thing, and then we'll get to that question. So number 1, it seemed at times maybe it got a little chippy. Did the game get a little chippy last night a few times? I know there was some hard fouls, and then there was the moment with Kateri Poole when she kind of got shoved. Was that right in front of y'all?
That was right in front of us. Mm-hmm.
So did it get a little chippy sometimes?
Yeah, it kind of did. I mean, there was one point the Michigan girl went for a layup, and she was like, my face, and she got hit in the face. And they reviewed it, and they said there was nothing wrong with it. And then I saw the Michigan girl was like, well, when they go up for a shot, just start slapping them in the face and stuff. And I'm like, what the heck? And that's when the same girl that said that shoved Kateri Poole. And we're like, how is she not ejected for that? I don't know. It was a straight shove. Like they called a charging foul. I'm like, bro, I don't know about that. But yeah, it got chippy. I think Michigan was just frustrated. Yeah. Offensively, they got shut down. Our defense was pretty stout. I think they were really frustrated.
I think you're right. I think it stems from some frustration, because that girl in particular, like you were saying, seemed frustrated when that happened.
Yeah.
And she kind of acted like, what did I do? Which that's what most players do. But you're right. I feel like it should have gone to review. It felt more intentional than the refs kind of acted like. I mean, at least they got the charge, they got the call. I was fine with that. But I feel like they could have reviewed and maybe called a tech or on that, or maybe a flagrant one or whatever it is, because it felt a little bit more vicious than what the refs gave. So to answer his question, what was going on with the security last night?
Yeah, so this has been a thing as old as time with that Landmark and LSU and the students. But I mean, from the jump, so the Landmark guy, he's over there. And he's clapping to the Michigan band. And one of the students kind of jokingly was like, hey, man, like, what are you doing cheering for Michigan? And he, like, runs over and he's like, don't you get in my face like that. Don't you yell at me across the thing. Blah, blah, blah. We're like, dude, what is up with this guy? He's like, and from the jump, and, like, whenever everyone started, that Michigan fan was videoing all the students because we were being rowdy or whatnot. When we started videoing back, we had the flashlights on, and the Landmark started freaking out about that because it's like pregame. Like, obviously, we're not going to do that in the game. You get a technical foul, whatever. And then, so then towards the end, Alexis Morris comes. She runs and jumps into the student section, which is awesome. Like, why would you not want that?
But you were like right there holding her up. That's what I did.
Yeah, jumps right into my arms. I catch her. So, like, why would you not want that for exposure for your university? Absolutely. Which, I mean, Landmark doesn't care about LSU. They don't. They just want to be mad at the world. But like LSU wants that clip posted everywhere because if you're a recruit and you see that, you're like, I'm going to LSU. Like, I'm going to jump in the student section like Alexis Morris.
Yeah.
Here comes the same Landmark guy from early in the game running over there. He stopped Kim Mulkey from coming to the student section. Was like, dude, you think you run this play? Like, it's Kim Mulkey. Like,
it's Kim Mulkey.
And he's
Kim Mulkey do what she won't.
Yeah. Yelling at Alexis Morris to get down, get like ruining the moment. He's like yelling at us to put her down. And I'm like, buddy, like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, they just won the game. Like, go, like, your job's over. The game's over. Like, go home. Like,
people are leaving.
I mean, Landmark is like, they are just horrible. Like, power trip, like it was ridiculous, and that was
So-
probably the last straw. We were having some
Yeah.
chippy words with them. We let them hear our thoughts on that. But
So, like, what is Landmark? Like, they're not a part of LSU. Like, is LSU hired like a third party security? Is that what that is?
yeah, I think that's what it is.
Gotta
Like
be.
it's like a third party security thing, and it's horrible.
Shoot, I mean,
And that's the same people at the baseball games where you say one cuss word and they're kicking you out, and the cops take you out. So yeah.
man. I mean, maybe the students should raise a stink about it. Maybe get some like instead of using a third party security, get like LSU actual security, so that when there's certain moments, like the security understands, okay, this is a moment for LSU.
Yeah.
Like, let's not ruin this moment.
Yeah. I mean, we've
Like,
had issues with
more like
them.
landfills.
We've had issues with them forever, ever since we started doing like kind of student section thing,
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I mean, Kim Walke, Joe Schwartz, they all tell us to be as rowdy as possible. So I'm like, you threatening to kick us out.
These
really
people
scary.
are LSU, like, and they're telling us what to do.
Yeah, like, and even like at
Go
the beginning
ahead.
of the game, some of the LSU staff kind of came over and was like, hey, like, we earned this right to have this home field advantage. Like, do not start telling these students to be quiet and stuff like that, because it happens like a lot, So, and them, yelling at Alexis to get down was kind of the last straw. And on the way out, it was our last game. We're done. So, Brandon definitely had some words for so yeah,
I believe that.
yeah, it was
It
interesting.
seems like something Brandon would do. That seems like Brandon.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever watched MASH, the old show MASH. But Brandon is just like Hawkeye on MASH. I mean, the way he looks and the way he acts, I'm like, it's Brandon. Like that's how he is.
Oh my gosh!
Totally cracks me up. But you should watch it sometime. It's a funny show. It's an old show, but it's funny. And you would look at that and be like, yeah, that's Brandon. So, anyways, I hate that happened, and I wish maybe the students could raise a stink about that and like get that changed, because it seems like with you guys, every time we have y'all on the show, whether it's you or Brandon or Miles, like that's a pretty common theme. So maybe it should change. Maybe we should talk to LSU about getting that changed. Zach, you got something?
Well, I mean, we're going to transition here, and before we let Gant go, we definitely want to ask about baseball. Obviously, the girls will have to wait until Friday to watch them again. They'll be facing Utah on Friday, so we'll preview that on our Friday show. But Gant, baseball is in full swing. Number one team in the country. You've already said that you've been able to go to some games. How excited are you for you? Obviously, we're going to wait and see what happens with women's basketball, and then once that's over, full attention is on baseball. How excited are you for this LSU baseball season? I mean, obviously, we come into the season with really, really high expectations. Everybody's thinking it's Omaha or bust. So what's your thoughts on this baseball season before we let you go?
Yeah, I mean, everything so far so good. You got Dylan Cruz, who looks like the clear number one player in the draft. Besides that, you got Paul Skeens, who might be the number one player in the draft.
Skeens maybe pushing him a little bit.
I mean,
you got two teammates battling it out.
Yeah. So, I mean, the question marks for all of last year were like, we don't have a pitching staff. And this year, I mean, you got about as many dudes as you can ask for on a college roster. You got a supporting cast around Cruz. They can't pitch around him. If they do, they're going to run into Tommy White or all these other guys. So, we're excited. We're already kind of looking ahead, maybe to plan a little Omaha trip. But
yes,
I know some of the guys will be going to Ole Miss for the Ole Miss series. So that'll be That'll be fun.
I'm coming to the Ole Miss series. So
we'll be there.
We're going to be there.
Freds is actually sending us there. They all expenses paid. So shout out to them, Freds Bar. But so that's something we're looking forward to. Maybe make an Omaha trip. But Omaha is pretty pricey, so we're pumped. We're excited. So hopefully they'll win an Natty, because we haven't won one in too long.
Absolutely. I would love to see the Balcony Bengals make a trip to Omaha. That would be awesome.
Yeah, we get that bar with the shots. We run that up.
There you go. Oh, Gant, we appreciate you taking some time and coming on the show and giving your thoughts on the game. Obviously, you were there. So you're able to always give some great insight. And we love you guys at the Balcony Bengals. Y'all are awesome and what you do. We love that y'all support LSU sports and want to bring more awareness to it, get more students activated into the student section, make it rowdy, make it fun. I think that's what LSU has been known for years, and I think y'all are really trying to continue that tradition. So really appreciate you guys and your passion for LSU. So keep doing what you're doing. We really enjoy it.
Thank you.
Well, so where can we find you, Gant, and the Balcony Bengals in terms of social media?
Yeah, I mean, you can find Balcony Bengals on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Just at Balcony Bengals. Also on YouTube. We haven't posted on YouTube though in like a while. Really, Instagram is probably our main platform. We want to keep up with like what we're doing on day to day. And then you can find me on all socials as well, just at Gant Gautreaux. So
there you go. There you go. Gant, we really appreciate you taking some time to do this. We always enjoy it, as always. We'll appreciate, and we'll have to do it again. We'll have to do it again. Especially if they're heading to Omaha, and y'all do that. We're gonna have to have you on to talk about Omaha. So
yeah, definitely.
For sure. Appreciate you, Gant. We'll see you next time.
All right, man. See you.
All right. So Zach, I mean, Gant's awesome. I'd love to hear his firsthand experience about the game. It's always good stuff. Yeah. Zach, I think we need to hit a quick break. Come back. We'll take some care of some comments and start our discussion about the weekend recap, and we'll do that right after this.
5-Star Hero, your intro and outro music for the Tigers Avenue show. They ain't ready for that LSU. Go check out all his other music on all the major platforms. Don't forget to follow him on Instagram at Saints Anthem and at Twitter at One Nation Doty. Don't forget to check out his Facebook page for all his Saints and LSU merchandise. Can't get any better than Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law. Her firm focuses on the needs of the elderly and maintaining their dignity throughout the process. Here for you, here for your family. Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law.
Back at it here in the Tigers Avenue to talk about a great weekend in College Station, Bluebell Park, against the Texas A&M Aggies. The Tigers take 2 out of 3. You went and you did what you needed to do. Zach, here on our last show, we talked about, what our predictions and what we thought. I kind of gave you my thought. Hey, when you go on the road in the SEC, try and take 2 out of 3. When you're at your house, try and go for the sweep. You get 2 out of 3. You did what you needed to do. I think it's a very successful weekend. I think always, whenever you win 2 games and then lose Sunday, people always cling on to that last loss more than looking at the whole picture from the weekend. And they let that cloud the weekend, and the weekend was very successful, Zach. So what are your initial – well, we need to get to some comments first before we really get into it. So let's see what the folks have been saying.
Oh, Danny Girl, back. We ain't seen her in a while. Thanks for joining, Danny Girl.
Yeah,
thanks
Danny. Appreciate
the Bengals for being the super fans that those of us far away can't be. Yeah, for real. Ryan said, Balcony, Omaha, Bengals, let's go.
That'd be awesome.
I love this one from Adam. Adam had to crack me up. I had to hold myself from laughing and not interrupting the conversation. But Adam B said landmark, more like landfills. Love it. Danny Girl also mentioned that this was, I believe, Indiana. They were down 12 originally, but now they've kind of come back here recently. Let's take those. Yeah. So Miami is up 57-51 with 6:20 to go in the fourth quarter. Baylor, who was losing not long ago, has also given up their lead to number 2 seed UConn. That scores 33-28 UConn over Baylor. Number 3 Duke is also losing right now to the 6 seed Colorado. So there is some top seeds, the top 1, 2, and 3 seeds tonight. They're definitely getting a run for their money versus these lower seeds. So we'll see how the rest of these games play out. But certainly looks like it's a lot closer than they would like. LSU kind of handled their business. LSU kind of handled their business 2 versus 6, but these teams are struggling a little bit.
Yeah, but Look, there's some other teams like South Carolina and Iowa who've also handled their business.
Yes.
So maybe, just maybe, we'll look forward to a Final Four. Maybe I don't want to get ahead of myself.
I predict I did make a bracket for the girls. I will not say exactly what I did in that bracket, but it's going pretty well so far. I'm liking how it's going.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other comments we need to get to?
I think that's just about it, Reagan. Tyler Townsend also joined us. He says, "What's up, guys?" Ryan, I do see your comment. Your hashtag tell me TA. I love that he does it. If you want to ask us a question, it's hashtag tell me TA. And Ryan, I do see that comment. We will get to that at the end in our last segment. Danny Girl also said, "My husband is from Indiana, and we all know all that. And we all know all that they have is basketball. He is losing his mind in this game and interrupting y'all talking. LOL." Hopefully it'll end up, I would say, I want it to go his way for you, Danny Girl, but I think I would like to see the upset more than maybe your husband being a little bit happier on how the game's going. So I'm going to continue to root for Miami in that one.
Absolutely. I mean, that'd be huge in terms of if we get past Utah, you're kind of if Indiana's out, you're kind of looking towards Final Four. Obviously, you got to take a game at a time, but you know what I mean. So Zach, this weekend, you take care of business on Friday and Saturday. Sunday, yeah. You're 6 outs away from the sweep. They have a 4-run eighth, and they take the last game. It is what it is. When Miami wins, the world lost. When Miami wins, the world loses. We feel about that way too with some other teams. I feel that way with A&M.
Oh, Reagan, you asked me about overall on the weekend.
Yeah, your overall weekend. What was your thoughts?
Sunday, obviously, it sucks. It does suck, and it sucks that it ended that way. And yes, it does leave kind of a sour taste in your mouth, but you cannot let it cloud what happened overall on the weekend. Would you have liked to win game 3? Yes. Is there issues to talk about in game 3? Yes. Did you let it slip away and kind of shoot yourself in the foot? Yes. But overall, as you mentioned, you want to win 2 on the road. You want to try and sweep your home games. And look, LSU, I got a feeling they're going to eventually sweep somebody, to go against Texas A&M, who's a good team. I understand Texas A&M is not doing phenomenal right now, but Texas A&M is a good team. And
they're a little banged up too.
They're a little banged up. Hunter Haas, oh my goodness
gracious.
Special.
He's special.
Dude, defense, he tore you up, and he tore you up on offense. I'm so glad we do not have to watch Hunter Haas anymore, because that dude got a base hit every freaking time he came up, and he stole a base hit every freaking time it was hit to him, or even near him. He stole. It was just he's insane. So thank God you ain't got to face that dude again. But look, I think all you got to say, just to break it down, Friday, I mean, there's really not much to say other than Paul Skeens. The big question going to SEC play was, can Paul Skeens pitch the same way against SEC hitters? And boy, did he. 11 punch outs. Look, I mean, he is arguably the best pitcher in the country. I think he is the best pitcher currently right now in the country. Dolander got touched a lot on Friday.
Their whole staff
Thursday. The whole staff got touched. Missouri just pounded Tennessee the whole weekend. They get swept. But Paul Skeens proved himself, man. He went out there. He was firing all cylinders. He was locating his spots, fastball. Everything was working for him. He was just punching out hitters left and right. I mean, it was just a phenomenal job. And the offense came out. They spotted you too at the very beginning. And that's all you can ask for. I mean, he's able to pitch freely. He can be comfortable. And that's exactly what happened. LSU goes on to dominate Friday night, which is what you definitely need to start every single series, is to win that first game on Friday. Sometimes you obviously play on Thursday, but win that first game, and you set yourself up really, really well for the weekend. Another thing it did is it really saved LSU's pitchers, which turned out for the good, because imagine if Paul Skeens had been plucked after 3, 4, 5. right? I mean, he was plucked after what, 6? I think he went 6 or maybe 7 and
He went 6
7.
and like a third.
6 and a third. Because I think he got 1 out in the 7th and they plucked him. So, imagine if he had only gone 3, 4, 5. Because what happened on Saturday and Sunday was your starters didn't go very deep. And obviously that's a concern. Ty Floyd only went 3 and a third. And also Thatcher Hurd only went 3 and a third. The guys didn't look as phenomenal as they have recently. Now, I think eventually they'll adjust. They'll get better.
Yeah.
Just had a bad weekend. But that was massive for Friday and Paul Skeens. Having Paul Skeens is massive in every single weekend because if he can go out and he can do what he's been doing on a week-to-week basis, it's going to set you – you're going to win. You're going to win a lot of SEC series. You may win all of your SEC series if he can go out and do that on a week-to-week basis as your Friday night guy. So Friday night, it's all Paul Skeens. I have a feeling that we're going to continue to say that throughout the rest of the season, that Friday night is starred by Paul Skeens. But look, the guys got going. You scored 9 runs. You almost mercy rolled them in that game. I mean, just the offense was clicking, just humming on all. They were humming on all cylinders. It was just phenomenal to watch, and it was a great way to start the weekend. Especially like when you're going through a long week and you're ready to be done with work and you're ready to get home and just chill. You get to go home, watch LSU, and it just makes it even better that they win and they win it in that way, right?
Yeah.
Now Saturday, little bit different story, kind of weird, right? Second and third inning, LSU can't do anything. They cannot buy a hit. The left-hander shuts you down. Reagan, what was crazy to me is how many left-handers they threw on Saturday. I don't think they threw a righty until way late in the game. I think they started with 4 lefties.
Yes.
They had a lefty starter, and then I'm pretty sure they bought 3 or 4 consecutive lefties. I mean, it was very, very clear and very, very evident. Obviously, LSU has struggled with left-handed pitching, and it was very clear and it was very evident that Texas A&M was trying – they wanted to win that game. They wanted to win on Saturday.
Yeah.
They liked their chances on Saturday, and they wanted to win. They were doing everything that they could on Saturday to win that game.
They were.
And so they threw every freaking lefty at you that they could. And luckily for LSU, they ran the pitch count up on a lot of those guys, and they finally broke through. Second and third inning sucked. It sucked for LSU fans to watch. It's been frustrating at times this season to not have situational hitting, but then the bats broke through, and then it was just an on-pour. Obviously, the negative from that game is you definitely want Ty Floyd to go longer than 3 1/3. I mean, that's definitely a concern going forward. We're gonna see how he does next weekend because good grief, and of course we'll preview it coming up. But man, you've got a massive match. You thought this weekend, was tough, dude. This weekend it gets even tougher. So, I mean, overall on Saturday it was the offense. Friday night, Paul Skeens. Saturday it was your offense. Tommy White was phenomenal this weekend. Just
SEC Player of the Week.
I mean, he's the SEC Player of the Week. I mean, he just continued to hit. Dylan Cruz pretty good. Obviously, we'll mention some of the guys that struggled. And then, of course, Sunday sucked. I'm going to be honest. It really did suck, because you had a really, really massive opportunity to sweep, and your bullpen could not finish. I think they ran Chase out there a little too long. I thought they did a pretty good job at managing the pitchers, and then Chase was doing really good, and then he kind of just lost his command there when it mattered the most there in the 8th inning. And look, Christian Little came in bases juiced, no outs, and Christian Little comes in and he gets 2 strikeouts. I understand he gave up he then walked the next guy and then he gave up the single, but Christian Little did what he was supposed to do, in that situation and coming in and setting you up to get out of the jam. Now, did he execute there at the end? No, he didn't. He gave up the walk and he gave up the strikeout. What happens, and also we have to mention this, Reagan. The entire weekend, the strike zone was awful.
Yeah, it was a bad weekend.
Terrible.
It was a bad weekend.
The entire weekend, it was an extremely tight and tiny zone. Pause. It was awful, and that affected the pitchers. And did it affect somebody like Paul Skeens? No, because Paul Skeens is a pro baseball player that's pitching in college baseball right now. But, guys like Ty Floyd and Thatcher Hurd, who are still kind of younger guys that are still trying to develop, does it affect them? Probably. And they struggle with their command. And a lot of that was due to the fact that they just weren't getting calls that were on the corners. And it was crazy. I thought, okay, Friday tight zone. All right. We'll have it'll be better, maybe the next 2 days. Every single day, the strike zone was just
Saturday was the worst by far.
Saturday was
Saturday
bad.
was
Like,
the worst by far.
it was just bad. And I'm not saying it for LSU teams, for just LSU, because it was bad for A&M too. I mean, there were some pitches.
It was.
There were some pitches for A&M that landed, and I was like, I did the ring them up, and and the pitcher just sits, or the ump just sits there and watches it. So like, it was really disappointing from an officiating standpoint, because I think it definitely affected the outcome for sure a little bit. But overall, on Sunday, what did you in was you just lost command. The pitchers lost command, and they weren't. And I mean, like Chase Shores was missing by a lot. Riley Cooper was missing by a lot. Now there was some that were close that should have been called, but they weren't just missing on the corners and the ref didn't call it. They were missing, and so your bullpen struggled. Yes, it could have been aided a little bit better by the umps, but your bullpen struggled on Sunday to have complete command. I don't think this. I really think this is kind of an outlier for this bullpen. I don't think this is going to be something drastic moving forward. I don't think it's going to be a major concern. Now, maybe it will be. Maybe I'm wrong, and hopefully it isn't. But we'll see moving forward if that continues to be an issue. But Sunday, yeah, it sucked that you basically, you just had to get 6 more outs, and you go into the 8th, and you definitely want to get them out there, because then you go in, into your last at bat, and you're going, okay, if we can scratch a run across here, we can really kind of put this thing away, or if we go third down, then we just got to hope that our closer, gets a fresh inning to shut everything down. So it sucks that the 8th inning ended the way that did, especially that everything was on 2 outs. It felt like everybody was on pins and needles watching that inning. And then unfortunately it breaks their way, and, they celebrated like they won the freaking national championship, and they're making cups now of LSU, Texas A&M 8, LSU 6, because they beat us 1 game in an entire series. And then Barstool Texas A&M is losing their absolute mind because they won 1 game on the weekend series. Congrats A&M. Congrats A&M. You lost the series. You're not that good. I understand you're dealing with injuries, but you're not that good. Your pitching's not that good. They don't have command. We raked on them most of the weekend. I hope you get better, because you honestly sucked this weekend, and we gave it to you. You should be thankful, because we gave you game 3. You didn't win it. We gave you game 3 because our bullpen wasn't the best. So here's to hoping that in the next few weekends we see a little bit better outing from the bullpen guys, and especially the starting pitching, because that's really where you need to see the improvement. Because if your starting pitching is better, you don't have to rely as much on the bullpen.
Yeah, I really don't think that what happened this weekend will happen continually. I really think you're going to see a lot more extended outings from Ty Floyd and Thatcher Hurd. I think it just happened back-to-back weekends. And look, let's be honest. Paul Skeens was dominant, so he didn't have to deal with the crowd. The crowd at A&M is a hostile crowd, and when you're there at A&M, and I mean the entire time you're on the mound, they're calling your name over and over and over and over again, and they get to the ball 5 chant, the ball 6, they start doing that. It's hostile, and it's hard to focus and pitch. And I think some of that had to do with it. I really don't think the bullpen was that bad on the whole weekend. Sunday, they struggled a little bit, but you also got to realize, like, Sunday, we reused some guys. So it wasn't like
and Christian Little came back in.
Yeah, right. Riley Cooper and Christian Little came back in. So it wasn't the most, fresh bullpen. Obviously, it was Chase Shore's first time pitching for the weekend. But I really think that the bullpen and the starting pitching will be better moving forward. And look, now you go to the home series, and your starting pitchers are not going to have to deal with anything whatsoever from the crowd, like anything. It will be a crowd that is completely in your favor.
Yep.
All of that energy that you feel from A&M's crowd is completely on your side, and will be against Arkansas, right? So in terms of the pitching, I'm really not that concerned. I think they did what they needed to do with our offense to get it done. And to your point, Zach, like you made the point, Christian Little came in bases loaded, no outs, and punched 2 in a row. Like,
yep. That's massive. That's what
it really wasn't that bad of a job. It wasn't that bad of a job. The reason we ended up losing is because the free passes from Chase, and I don't expect him to do that all the time either. So I would not be too up in arms about the bullpen or the starting pitching. I really think that it's kind of something that we're not going to see often, especially when you're at home. Like we saw Thatcher Hurd really go out there and absolutely dominate Texas in a hostile environment, in a very hostile environment. So we know what Thatcher can do. So I really don't think what you saw from Ty Floyd and Thatcher is going to be very common. And I really don't think you're going to have to lean as much on your bullpen as you did this weekend. It's your first SEC weekend, and it was in a hostile environment, and you went out and you took 2 out of 3, and you really looked the part as the number 1 team in the country for most of the weekend. I mean, Zach, if you think about it, like let's put it in this term, Zach. You dominate the first 2 games. And what I really liked about the second game is you saw some adversity. You saw some adversity and really responded. I mean, you put up a 6 spot after going down 4, and for 2-3 innings, it felt like absolutely nothing was going your way.
Yep.
And then your offense, I mean, lifts you off your feet, right? So
on the board, insane.
Yeah, and then you end up scoring 12 points, and Jared Jones went nuts that day with 7 RBIs and a nuke of a home run. So you look the part as number 1. So you're really going to, I think, this weekend get a good view of this team, especially in a home environment. I'm really looking forward to see Ty Floyd and Thatcher Hurd respond to this past weekend, which were struggle starts for them. But look, Thatcher Hurd, I mean, at UCLA dominated at times, and we've seen him do it this year already. Like, I do not expect Sunday to be the norm whatsoever.
We also got to remember, he's still recovering from an injury that he had. So, I mean, we also have to take that into factor. But I do agree with Ryan. I think the middle relief could do a bit better. There's some guys that are kind of struggling right now.
Relief, Garrett Edwards was amazing.
I said a bit better. Riley Cooper has struggled a little bit here recently.
Coop was good on. Coop was good his first outing.
Chase George has struggled with his command a little bit here recently. I mean, Garrett Edwards, I ain't got nothing to say about Garrett Edwards. Garrett Edwards looks great. He looks phenomenal.
He's really coming on.
Nate Ackenhausen has looked great. I don't have any complaints there. I mean, there's just some guys that are maybe struggling a little bit, and I think it's mostly command. Like there's a few guys right now that are just struggling a little bit with command. By the way, Reagan, quick interruption. We are less than a minute to go in this Miami and Stanford game. Miami is ahead 66-65. Stanford just completely botched a wide open layup. Miami got the rebound. Stanford botched it. They just missed a wide open layup, and Miami rebounded.
Are you talking about Indiana? You keep saying Stanford.
Yes, I'm sorry, Indiana. They're the same colors, exact same colors. So Indiana botched now it's going to review. But Miami did get the rebound. I think they fouled.
Gotcha.
But there is now a review. Not sure what that is getting reviewed, what exactly is getting reviewed on that. But, dude, this could be massive because this is LSU's bracket right here. The number 1 seed, Indiana.
It'd It would be huge.
This is a massive game right here for LSU. We'll keep monitoring that. But Reagan, I guess I want to ask you, like, what was something? I mean, overall on the weekend, I mean, just phenomenal to be able to win 2 out of 3. You started as Miami misses the first free throw. You got to make your free throws and down the stretch, especially in these games. LSU, they've been great, and you, as you said, you took 2 out of 3. That's exactly what you want to do. Yes, Sunday was disappointing, but overall, phenomenal weekend. I guess if I want to say, if there is some areas right now they miss another free throw, and Stanford, Indiana now has the ball with 20 seconds left and down 1. So we'll see how that goes. Is there any concerns that you saw this weekend against Texas A&M that you want to see kind of worked out here moving forward? I mean, I'll mention the one thing, and I've mentioned this a ton, and Blake hinted tonight that I might actually, because I've been saying it for a long time now, that I might actually get what I've been kind of desiring, and that's more appearances from either
Beloso.
From Beloso.
Yeah.
Maybe we see Joe Bear. I don't know. But Paxton Kling obviously struggled. I don't have anything against Paxton Kling. I think he is phenomenal.
Yeah, he'll stay in the lineup.
I think he's just in a slump, and he just didn't have a great weekend. We have 2 pitchers that didn't have a great weekend. So, we'll see how he bounces. I don't think Paxton Kling is somebody you take out of the lineup right now. I think you leave him in. But, some guys that I definitely think you need to give a look at, and I've been saying it, look, Beloso deserves a shot. He's still hitting above 400. I'm not saying that he is your everyday guy, but I'm saying, when you've got guys that, like Paxton Kling and like Bear Jones, Bear Jones had a phenomenal Saturday, but Friday and Sunday, not great. He didn't have a good Friday and Sunday. I think he might have had 1 hit Sunday, but his Friday and Sunday were not good. His Saturday was phenomenal. I just think, there's opportunities in the games where, you could bring in. LSU's just so talented and they have so much depth. There comes a point where you can say, hey, we can bring in a guy here, or we can bring in this matchup here, and we're okay with that. I think Alex Milazzo is definitely deserving of that as well. So we'll see. By the way, Indiana took a shot with 12 seconds left, missed. Miami rebounded. They're going to the free throw line again. Can they clutch up?
Oh boy.
Can they clutch up and
How
make
much
their
time
free
left?
throws? 12 seconds, 12.7 seconds left. So Reagan, is there, and I'll update you as we go. Is there any areas of concern coming out of this weekend that you feel needs to be addressed?
I mean, I was pleased with the offense. I was pleased with the defense. The defense looks phenomenal. I mean, absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. Did they have an error this weekend? Did we have an error?
I think they had one.
Wasn't it kind of close? Was it the Tommy White throw? I thought did they rule that in hit?
On
Sunday?
I really don't know. I think we did have one though.
They
I can't
hit
remember
both of them, by the way. Miami hit both.
That's honestly, that kind of like the fact that I don't know what it was, I think speaks volumes. There was no major error. Like there was no massive error. There has been something. I think these guys are talking about it right now. Adam and Peyton. There has been like this narrative that we can't hit against left-handed pitchers. Like we put up 10 runs against left-handed pitchers on Saturday. So
right.
Well, I think the 2 of them did come against the right-handed
Okay,
pitcher.
I got you. 2 of them came against the right. I got you.
But 10 runs came against lefties. So so I don't know. I get what you're saying. I think what it is, I think we strike out more against left-handed pitchers. I don't think that we don't do any. People act like when there's a left-handed pitcher, like we're absolutely handicapped at the plate. And I just don't think that's true. I just think you see more swing and miss when our team faces a left-handed pitcher. but you put up 10 runs on left-handed. I mean, that's like you're talking about, Zach. They were intentionally doing that on Saturday.
And it didn't matter on Saturday. Now,
Indiana just hit a 3 and tied it. Indiana just hit a 3 and tied it.
Oh, gosh, I missed it too.
6 seconds left.
It's your fault. I'm just kidding. Oh, now it's frozen up, so now I can't even watch it.
6 seconds left. It's tied 68-68. They hit a 3.
So Miami's going to have a shot to win it.
Miami has a shot to win it with 6 seconds.
Woo!
So
Saturday, they kind of destroyed that narrative.
Yeah, you scored 10 runs against them. Yeah, you really handled business, and they were trying to intentionally do that to you. So I don't know if I totally buy into that. Like, I get what you're saying. I think there's more swing and miss, like I was saying, with left-handed pitchers, but I don't think we're handicapped. I think that's what some people are saying. But anyways.
Danny Girl said, any reason we played the young catcher?
I got to agree. Look, I got to agree with this, Zach. I got to agree with this. I thought that we were going to see Brady Neal stay in the lineup because of his production at the plate. I don't think his production at the plate justifies him enough anymore. And this is not a knock on him. I really think that he will do very well at LSU.
Yeah.
But what I've seen from Milazzo at the plate is just as good, if not better, than Brady Neal. And there's no question in my mind that Milazzo's a better defensive catcher. I would like to see Milazzo start to get the starts over Brady Neal after this weekend. There were some pass balls that shouldn't have been missed. There were some mental errors. Miami scores 3 seconds left.
Oh,
70-68, 3 seconds left. 2-1. They're driving. Time expires. Miami wins.
Oh my
and Indiana is put out. I mean, this is huge. Huge moment here for LSU women's basketball.
Because if they can get past Stanford, I mean, yeah, thank goodness you were in this bracket. Again, we continue to harp on it.
If you can get back Utah, Zach, you're stuck on Stanford. You got stuff at Stanford.
I don't know why I don't keep saying
Stanford. You're
Indiana.
Stanford got upset too. Stanford got upset too. Old Miss got put Stanford out.
Yes, gosh, I don't know. I'm sorry, y'all. I apologize. I am stupid. It's all good. That's insane. Tyler Townsend asked a good question because we do need to kind of wrap it up here. We're at
we do.
And we'll get to Ryan's question. He said, "Why do I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on Arkansas baseball? I think they are the second best team." Yeah, I agree. They've dealt with injuries. They've dealt with a lot of injuries on the pitching staff, and they've had to combat for that. And you've had some losses here and there because of that.
Yeah, I think their lineup is solid. They have a great team. They really do. I think the pitching staff is the concern with Arkansas. And for a time there against Auburn, I think they were losing against their first game. Their first game against Auburn, they were behind for a good bit of that game, but it looks like they did enough to take care of business. They really look like the part Arkansas does.
Peyton said, "Dang, and y'all been calling me crazy on Milazzo. Look, last year was different.
Ain't nobody look. No, hold up now. Hold up, Peyton.
McManus
I was behind you. I supported you last year the whole time on Milazzo. I backed you.
I didn't
the whole time because I tell you what, McManus drove me crazy a few times.
Behind the plate, yes.
McManus drove me crazy behind the plate.
But
sometimes.
McManus could hit. He hit the ball.
He did not. He could hit bombs every now and then. It was not enough to justify the crucial, the blunders that he made behind the plate sometimes.
That's fair.
Brady Neal is
not near as bad.
No, he's not near as bad. Brady Neal is going to be an excellent catcher at LSU. He is just a little immature. The dude is supposed to be a senior in high school right now.
Yeah.
The dude's supposed to be a senior in high school. He's making some immature, young mistakes, some pass balls. I don't think his bat's good enough to overlook Milazzo.
I agree.
Milazzo, I think, needs to be in the line.
I think Milazzo and Beloso deserve more looks, and hopefully we'll see that. Maybe tomorrow night. So let's get to that. So tomorrow night they're going to play UCA, which is kind of cool. I went to CBC, which is literally right down the road from UCLA. UCA. I just can't get another team's name right for nothing tonight. UCA, right down the road from my old college, my old stomping grounds, Central Baptist College, and UCA in Conway, Arkansas. They're coming to Baton Rouge to face LSU. I think Ryan asked the question because I'm not worried about offense. I don't think we really need to talk about offense against UCA. I think they'll do well. I hope so. Knock on wood. But Ryan asked the question that I think we need to address. Who starts? Because Chase Shores put a lot of innings on Sunday. So who comes in and start? I got to be honest, Reagan. I think we might get what we asked for. And I think somebody that came on the show not super long ago might also get.
Is that your guess? Is that your guess?
I think Nate Ackenhausen might get a start this midweek. I do, because he only pitched what was it, 1 or 2 innings?
Correct.
This weekend?
Yeah, it was 2. I think he pitched
Not even
too full. Not even too full.
Not even too full. He didn't. I think he went.
I think it was 1 2/3. 1 2/3.
Maybe 2/3. Okay, so he didn't even go a full 2. I think maybe because who else is going to do it?
You're right. I didn't think about that. Because he pitched this weekend. I was thinking maybe he wouldn't, but he really didn't pitch that much at all. So you may be very well right. But I was thinking, if not him, I would have to think Will Helmers. I think he would have to be.
We didn't see Will Helmers at all this weekend.
He didn't pitch. Right.
Yeah. Okay. You might have me. You might have me there. I would love to see Nate. I think Will Helmers would be a very good option. He's a guy that has started in the midweek.
Yeah.
So, in years past, it was like 2 years ago, but I think he might have started. He might have started the game last year. In the midweek. So, anyways, Reagan, I think we're about done. Miami pulls off the upset. LSU baseball
big news.
Continuing to roll. Great news for LSU women's basketball as they have advanced to Sweet 16. They got a massive, massive game against Utah. But we're talking, so Miami, let's see who they'll face now. Let's see.
Villanova, I think, is what the bracket.
Villanova?
Yeah.
Let's see if we can look at it here, Reagan. Okay. I want to see the bracket. Let me know if you see it before
Villanova. Yeah, Villanova.
So it'll be Villanova, Miami, LSU, Utah. I really like LSU's chances. Like LSU's chances. Now, I think
you got to play Utah, though.
You got to play Utah. It's going to be tough. So we'll see. Danny girl mentioning the Miami game. She said, we watched this entire game, y'all. This Miami team is hot right now, and they play dirty. I don't know if they're the better option. We'll see. Peyton says Blake Money can start. Yeah, we'll see. He could. He very well could.
I've really kind of been – I want to see Blake Money do better. I feel like
I think he's kind of one of those guys like Ryan mentioned, just kind of struggling a little bit. Needs to take a step up. All right, Reagan, we need to end the show because I'm ready to go eat, and we've been 10 minutes. We're 10 minutes over already. Well, let's take a quick break, and then Reagan will be back to wrap up the show.
Make sure you go follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Tigers Avenue, for daily updates on the show and all things LSU sports. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to click off and hit that subscribe button at Tigers Avenue. We broadcast all of our shows live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
All right back at it here to wrap things up. Appreciate all you guys coming in. Y'all been popping in the comment section tonight. We appreciate all of y'all's feedback. We love having y'all in here to discuss LSU sports with us, and really looking forward to another great week. Arkansas, UCA this Friday. We got the Sweet 16 with LSU versus Utah. So it's gonna be a great week, and we'll be back to discuss those things on Thursday night for our second show this week, and we'll really get in depth looking at Utah, and we'll get a little bit more in depth into Arkansas as well. So I hope you would come back.
Probably we'll have a guest on Friday to look at
Okay. We'll probably have a guest. We do have a lot of Arkansas friends, so we will probably have a guest on Thursday to discuss Arkansas baseball with us and get their side of things. So be looking forward to that as well. Appreciate all you guys again. We'll see you next time here on Thursday night in the Tigers Avenue. 5-Star Hero, take us out. Peace.